Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to design a network. Okay, so when I'm designing or when I'm talking, if you have any questions, let me know. And then we will build that VPC. That is what we're going to do. I terminated all the instances, everything. We're going to do everything from the start one more time. Okay, so this is a paintbrush I'm just taking. I don't have Visio right here. So we'll use this paintbrush to build our VPC. Okay. So we're going to build a VPC in Virginia.
Deepu, we can't see your screen.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, can you see it now?
Have you started recording, Deepu?
Yeah, I did. All right. So we're going to design a VPC. I mean, just imagine a typical good company's network. If that company wanted to go to Amazon, how do we design a VPC? That is what we're going to do. So this company wanted to put some servers, excuse me, they wanted to put some servers, some web servers, front-end facing web servers to host their website. These web servers will be talking to some application servers. The application servers will be talking back to database servers. There can be Active Directory. All kind of things will come into picture. So we're going to design a network, something very similar to that. I'm not going that crazy here, but you guys, I would recommend all of you to try to do something like this so that you get that level of confidence. Okay, I can build a network in Amazon. And there are other components like load balancers and all we will be learning. So we are going to build on top of this starting today. Okay. So first thing is I'm going to draw the picture here, how this is going to look like. And then we're going to build it. And then I will go through some VPC limitations, VPCs, certain settings, a lot of things we need to talk about it. But I think all of you now have an idea how a VPC looks like. And I think you also know how to create a VPC. So what I'm doing is I'm going to draw a VPC here. Okay. So this VPC we're going to use, I'm going to use only 2 availability zones. We can use 3 availability zones, but I'm going to use only 2 availability zones for this. So let's call this VPC a name, class 10 VPC. And the CIDR block for that is, what I'm going to use is 10.0.0.0/16. You can use 16, 17, 18, 19, up to 24 you can use for CIDR blocks. Okay, that is what Amazon recommends. If you use 16, that is going to be the biggest network. 16 means 2 raised to 16 number of servers or IP addresses you can create in this network. So if you don't want that big, you can go for /18 or /19 or things like that. Okay, so we're going to use the CIDR block as 10.0.0.0/16.
Deepu, does that affect our application if we take what rather than what we need, like more than what we need? If we are choosing, we can even build our application workspace with around 18 or 19, but we choose 16. So does that affect anything?
No, I mean 18 is going to give you little less number of IP addresses, but it is not going to affect anything. I mean 18 itself is a huge network. 16 will give you lot of subnets and all you can create. That's it. It is not going to affect anything.
Okay.
You can put I was looking at some of our VPCs in today. We are using some of them /16, /17. We are using /18 and things like that.
Do we have to pay for this?
No, VPC is free. You don't have
But
to
not
pay.
VPC, the cider, like cider block.
No, you don't have to.
Okay, thank you.
So this is the availability zone. I'm going to put this availability zone as US East 1-A, and this is US East 1-C. Okay, we don't have B. I don't have B, so I'm using 1-A and 1-C are the two availability zones. I could build one more availability zone, but I'm just going to do this here. So in this company, what we are designing, they wanted to have certain servers, that is pretty much web servers that needs to be exposed to the outside world. Something like I would call in your company environments, you might have heard about something called as DMZ, demilitarized zone. These are servers that are exposed to internet. So we're going to bring in, I'm going to create a couple of subnets. Let me just put this here. This is called as a public subnet. So I'm just drawing this picture, this line here to separate certain things here. Okay. That blue area is going to be the public subnets. And I'm going to create a subnet here. I can create one more subnet here if I want to. I'm just leaving it there. I'm creating another subnet here, and we're going to give a CIDR block for this, not CIDR block, IP subnet, and we're going to name it. I'm going to call it as public subnet 1, and this one I'm going to call it as public subnet 2. So I'm going to call this as, and then I have to give a CIDR block for these subnets. So let's give the CIDR block for this as 10.0.1.0/24. Again, I can make it different subnet. 24 will give me 254. You don't need to do that. You can put 25 or 28 or 29, so that you can reduce that to a little smaller numbers here. I would say in real life you don't want to put 24 there. That means 250. You're never going to put 254 external facing servers in your network. So you can actually put it like 28 or 29 so that it will be a smaller subnet. But you got to plan ahead. In future, if you want to expand, you cannot do that. So 10.0.2.0/24. So I created two subnets here. These are called public subnets. A public subnet is a subnet that can, or a public subnet is a subnet that will have a route table attached to it, which will have IGW there. That is how you call it as a public subnet, right? A subnet with a route table which has a IGW, then you call it as a public subnet, right? We talked about that yesterday. So this is the IGW. Let's draw that. So we need to build an IGW here. Okay. So we need to build a route table here for these two guys. We need to put a route table here. So I'm not going to draw that route table here. We will probably put it in a notepad here for that. Okay, so I'll put a notepad to let's do a route table thing for, so we'll call it as a route table. We call it as public route table. That's the name of our route table. And destination and target, right? And I'm going to put the destination as a local. What will be the local route? 10.0.0.0 slash 16 called as local, correct? And then another one is 0.0.0.0 slash 0. And what will be here in the target?
IGW.
IGW, correct? IGW's ID, and then you need to put the ID of that. So that is a public subnet, okay? A public route table. We will be attaching this route table to public subnet 1 and public subnet 2. Now we're going to create another set of subnets. I'm just drawing this blue color thing to differentiate, to show you guys, the difference, okay? Okay, you can make something like this, in your way, the way you want it. What do I do? Okay, so I'm going to make a subnet here, and this subnet here, and I'm going to make another subnet here. So this subnet is a private subnet, but I'm not going to we can call it as private subnet. So we'll call it as private, or will be called as PVT subnet 3. Why I call 3 is because I wanted to put this octet. I can call it as 10 or 15 or 20, or I don't even have to put a number also, but I'm just putting 3 to make to differentiate the IP subnet VLANs, okay? So here if I put 3, I would normally use 10.0.3.0/24, and here we're going to use another one which is called as private subnet 4, and it will be 10.0.4.0/24. So this is a private subnet. We will be building servers here, but these servers will not have internet access, or these servers will not have public IP addresses. Think in that way. I'll explain a little bit more on the public IP addresses and private IP addresses and all little later. But just understand that any instances that we are building in a private subnet will not have a public IP address. That means they cannot talk to IGW directly. So these subnets will have, can I attach the same route table to these subnets, private subnet 3 and private subnet? I have to create a different
Route table.
Private route table. So we have to build these route tables, okay? We'll be building this route table. Again, the same thing, I'm going to put it here. But here, there is no IGW. So this is a private route table. I'm going to build another route table also. Another subnet also. Just to give you guys an idea.
So how many route tables can a single VPC have? Is it only 2?
No, you can create as many as you want. I think there's a limitation. How many? I think we will look at some of the limitation. I mean the limits. We'll look at it. I have a link. We'll talk about all that when we get into there. Okay. I will be explaining all that. How many VPCs you can create, how many subnets you can create, how many IGWs. All that thing is there. I will explain once we done this. So all that questions, there is an FAQ session itself is there. We'll cover that today. So today my plan is to finish off this so that we can move on to other topics, okay, from next week. And by the way, I think I told you or not, I'm not sure. I think I didn't tell you. Next week, Wednesday and Thursday, there is no class I mentioned, but that is not correct. Unfortunately, my friend who was supposed to come, his grandmother passed away, so he changed his plan and he went back to India. So we will have class next week full, okay? So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we will be having class. So this is, I'm going to put as a third subnet here. Let us make this. This is the subnet where I wanted to put my database servers, where I wanted to put my domain controllers and all. But right now I'm just going to call it as here there is a subnet, and I'm going to call here as a subnet, and I'm going to create one subnet here just for namesake. And we're going to call this. You can create as many subnets, but the subnet cannot span across availability zones, and you know that. So I'm going to call this subnet as DB subnet, and I'm going to call it as DB subnet 5. The 5 I am putting is just because I wanted to use the CIDR block as 10.0.5.0/24. Okay, I mean you can use whatever you want, and I'm going to call here this one as infrastructure subnet. Infrastructure subnet is normally, that's a good practice to have your domain controllers, your DNS servers, your your file servers, those things you want to put it in a separate thing. You don't want to mix them with your application servers, your web servers. Everything has to be in their own bucket so that you can have proper security groups and proper things and all. You can do that for much more controlled access. You don't want to put all these things into one bucket and all. That doesn't make sense, and then it will become very complicated when you build complex environments. So it's always better to plan something like this. Okay, so this is a design part of it. Infrastructure subnet, I'm going to call it as 6, and the IP address is 10.0.6.0/24. I'm going to put here also an infrastructure subnet for now. Infrastructure subnet 7, that is for my domain controller. Maybe my one domain controller will be here in this, and another domain controller will be here, things like that. So 10.0.7.0/24. So we need to create a route table. I can actually use the same route table, private route table here also, if you want to, but but I'm going to call it a different name here. So somebody asked me, can I create multiple things? So let's call it as a private route table 2, and this is private route table 1. Okay, and the target is still same. I just wanted to separate it. You can name anything for your route table. Is this part, at least up to whatever I did so far, is it clear for everybody? Or if anybody has a question, please ask me. So far what I did you understand everything? Can you create something like this so far?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Everybody is good?
Diva, I have a question. So when you have like servers at like 2 different availability zones, but they use one single route table, can they communicate to each other?
Yes, every VPC will only have one route table. Okay, that is an internal route table. So that route table, so just assume that there is a route table in the middle of here. Okay, I can, I'm just drawing something like this. So just imagine there is a route table like this. Okay, you can see that dot, right? There is a route table there. Okay, it is a service. That route table is in response. That route table is responsible for all the routing. If this subnet wants to talk to this subnet, or this wants to talk to here or anything, or if an instance in this subnet, subnet 7 wants to talk to IGW, that routing also happens through that internal one and only router. There is a router or a software-based router here inside it. Is that what you asked? You asked the router, or I think you asked me route table, right?
I asked actually route table. So
Okay.
basically, you're having like one route table for
Okay,
like.
okay. Your question is, can I attach one route table to two availability zones? That's your question. Yes, it is
Yes,
possible.
yes.
Yes, it is possible.
And those servers can communicate to each other, right?
Yes, the communication happens through that router, which interlocks all these things, but you can have the same route table attached to both subnets, which are part of two availability zones.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay. Ravi, infrastructure subnet is just a name I gave for putting my infrastructure server. You know, when a company's data center is having, we normally call infrastructure servers are, domain controllers, DNS servers, DHCP servers, file servers, FTP servers, your home directory servers. They are all called as infrastructure servers. Those are the first things that needs to come up, right? Without a domain controller, without an Active Directory, your infrastructure is not complete. So I just want to put my DCs and stuff right here. Okay, that's why I call it as infrastructure subnet. Subnet 5 and 6 talk to each other. They are in the same subnet. They just talk through the same router. There is nothing. They can all talk to each other. But as long as the proper security groups are there, then only they can talk. Okay, so we'll get into that. So now I'm going to do is I wanted to build some servers here. So I'm going to build a web server here. And I'm going to build another web server here, and we will be using these servers. These are called as external web servers. I'm just going to build it. We're going to call them as external web servers. Okay, so in the public route table, in the subnet, so I'm going to call I'm not writing it, but we will call them as external web servers. Then I'm going to build two servers here. We can build more. I'm just going to build two servers here. I'll use a different color here. So I'll build two application servers here. It can be, WebLogic server or WebSphere server or anything. You don't have to, but I'm just putting it, you can imagine in your environment. And then I'm going to build a database server here. It will be a SQL server or an Oracle server or anything. Now there is RDS, Relational Database Service. Amazon provides that service. You can use that also, but right now let us not get into that. We are going to build our own database server so that these servers can communicate. And then I'm going to build a domain controller here. And I'm going to build another domain controller here. And so on. I can build so many servers. Okay, is this clear for everybody right now? Up to here? We're going to do this now, okay? Now, this is clear everybody, right?
Yeah.
All right, now the question is, okay, let's build this first and then we will get into it, okay? So I'm going to save this. I want to save that here. We'll save this also. So now let's go and build a VPC here using that. Okay. So just keep this in mind, your picture, and now everybody should have that in mind. So are we going to start a VPC wizard, or are we going to do it in a different way? We're going to do it in a different way. We're going to do it the manual way, right? So we go to VPCs, and let's delete this VPC. This is the one that not this one. I don't want that. Let's delete that VPC. So we'll use the same name, everything, okay? CIDR block, all the things we'll use the same.
Deepu, generally, how many VPCs does a company have in general?
It depends. I've when I was attending one of the Amazon summit, I heard there is a company that has like hundreds of VPCs. It all depends on different things. Sometimes a company will create a VPC just for a developer. One developer will have a VPC and he has his own environment, and he will be testing everything. And once he's done, he will delete everything.
Okay.
So it depends, it's your need, things like that. I have a friend of mine who works for Intuit, TurboTax. He said, every testing unit has their own VPCs. Muthu, you are on a phone, I think. I'm not able to unmute you. I don't know, I think you are on a phone. All right, so let's go and create our VPC. We're going to call it as class 10 VPC. And the CIDR block is 10.0.0.0/16. So when you create a VPC, you can create a VPC with an IP version 4 CIDR block as well as an IP version 6 CIDR block. By default, IP version 6 is not enabled, but I don't think anybody uses it. But if you want, I never tried this myself, but if you want, you can have another CIDR block with IP version 6 also, okay? So we are not going to use that, but in future also, if you want, you can actually modify that. I'll show you. No IPv6 CIDR block, but if you want, you can have an IPv6 CIDR block also. So tenancy is default, and we're going to create this new VPC. So we have created this VPC. This is the VPC's property, class 10 VPC. It has an ID. It got an ID. There are certain things here, DNS host names, and you can see that the DNS resolution is S and DNS host name is host. This is very, very important. Let me just talk about that a little bit right now. When you have a instance created and that instance has a public, Karthik, can you please mute? When you have an instance, thanks. When you have an instance and that instance has a public IP address and you want to resolve that instance using a DNS name, then you need to have these two things on. Otherwise, the DNS resolution won't work. Just by having the DNS resolution will not do. You need to have DNS host name also to be turned on. So what you need to do is you have to go to the Actions tab, and then you go to the Edit DNS Resolution, and here you can say DNS resolution is yes, that is already there, and then there is a DNS host name is there. You want to make it yes. That will give, now only if you want to have your servers resolved externally. I just wanted to show it, that's why I just put that, okay? I think I did put it yes. Okay, so now you can see these two things are yes. DHCP option set, just wanted to have a word on that. What is DHCP option set? I think we did talk about this in the first or second class. Can anybody tell me what is a DHCP option set? Anybody in the class? Okay, Muthu, I can unmute now. Anybody? Can anybody tell me what is a DHCP option set? Srikanth, you are still, I can see that you are joined as two people. Are you the only person, or is there a friend of you also attending? Srikanth, I see two people connected with your name. Okay. Okay, then why am I seeing two Srikanths? Can I remove one? Okay. So, what is DHCP option set? Anybody?
It contains the configuration for that network.
No, that's not a correct answer. Anybody? Anybody else? Come on, Devinder. There are many guys here, right? Linux, Unix guys. What is a DHCP option set means?
Assigning IP addresses.
Okay. So hold on 1 second here. There is, I think there's a problem. So Srikanth A, one is Ravi is using it, right? And Srikanth, actual Srikanth, what is your email address, Srikanth? Can I have your full email address? Okay, so Srikanth, whoever is having problem, just give me a call after this class. It looks like you are not registered in this class. Are you from AVCO? Okay, looks like you may not be registered here. So that is why you are not getting the emails. Okay, so please go ahead and register. Anyway, give me a call after this class, okay, Srikanth? Then I'll fix your issue. So that's fine. So you are sharing with it now, right? Okay. All right. So what is DHCP option set actually?
It is auto assigning IP addresses.
Okay. No. So what is a DHCP server?
It dynamically provides a IP address for the host.
Okay. So a DHCP server gives automatically IP addresses to your servers or your devices, you know. In your house, your wireless router is actually a DHCP server. That's why when your phone is connected or when your laptop is connected, you automatically gets an IP address. But it is not only the IP address, you also get a couple of other things along with your IP address. If you do an IP config /all, you see a lot of other things, right? Look at this here. If you look at this particular thing, your computer, you got a IP address, and then you also get, let me just go this a little bit up here. Here it is. Look at here. Okay, this is the thing. If you look here, you are getting an IP address. This is your IP address. Then you get a subnet mask. Then you are getting a default gateway. Then you are getting a DNS servers. You can get NetBIOS IP, so you can get the DNS name, lot of other things, DNS suffix, things like that. You can get a lot of information also from the DHCP server. The DHCP server can give not only the IP address, it can give you your DNS servers, it can give you your NetBIOS servers, it can give you your TFTP servers, your time server, your domain name, lot of things actually a DHCP server can give, and those things are called as options. So every DHCP server you can create options or option sets, okay? So your VPC also has a option set, default DHCP option set. So if you go here, you can see the DHCP option sets here. If you go here, you can see a DHCP option set. By default, when you create a VPC, it gets a DHCP option set. So if you look at this DHCP option set, look at here, that DHCP option set will give you a domain name. It can tell you what are your DNS servers, what are your name servers, all that things it can give you. Let us go back and look at our VPC now, and this is the DHCP option set. You can see that the name DOPT, DHCP option set 37, this is the DHCP option set. I'm going to that option set to see what are the values there. This is the default one, the default DHCP option set that was created as part of creating that VPC. It has a domain name called ec2.internal. That is the default domain name. Now, if your company name is Bank of America, then you may want to give that as bankofamerica.com. Then your domain name is going to be bankofamerica.com. Every server will have a name, server name.bankofamerica.com. If you know your DNS servers, if your company is having your own DNS servers, you can specify those DNS servers. The thing is, you cannot modify these settings. There is no edit options or anything. The only thing you can do is you can delete that. So if you want to change the values of a DHCP option set, and you can have only one DHCP option set per VPC. So our VPC, the VPC that we created right now, already has a DHCP option set. So this is not the DHCP option set you may want. You may want to have your own DHCP option set. So let's go and create a DHCP option set here. As I said, you cannot modify that. So I'm going to create a DHCP option set. I'm going to call it as class 10 DHCP option okay, and then you can call it as a domain name. If you want to call it as, you can call it as class10.com. I'm just giving it here, okay? And the DNS servers, if you want to know, if you know your DNS servers, you can provide that DNS servers. I'm just giving it what CIDR block is 10, so I'm going to say 10.0.7.8, comma, if you have two DNS servers, you can put 10.0.6.8, and I have a NTP server or a name server which will give the time for my servers. I'm going to call it as 10.0.7.9. If you have a NetBIOS server, now NetBIOS is actually Microsoft Win server in the past. People call it as Win server. NetBIOS node type, there are some, nobody uses nowadays NetBIOS name servers and NetBIOS node type. This is called as multicasting, broadcasting, things like that. You don't need to use these things. But I created my own DHCP option set now. Okay, this way all the servers in my VPC, when they come up, they get not only the IP address, they also get all these things. They will get the DNS server as this, time server as this, and so on. So you create your DHCP option set. What I did now is I just created a DHCP option set, but it is not attached to my VPC yet. So if you want to attach it, you need to actually go to your VPC, and then you can actually, here there is an option called Edit DHCP Option Set. You come here. Right now this is the default one. If you want to pick your DHCP option, class 10 DHCP option set, you can attach it. Understand? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the default one. But this is how you create a DHCP option set, and you can attach it to that. So you can actually attach to this, and then all your instances will be getting that IP address or that DNS server and things like that. Okay? So that is DHCP option set. So we have created all that thing, and then there is a route table attached to this VPC. Did I created this route table? So this is a route table that is automatically created to the VPC, and this route table is having a name. What is it called? Anybody remember? The first route table that is created as part of your VPC is called what?
Main route table.
Main route table. So let's go here and look at that route table. So this is that main route table. So I am going to give it a name, class 10 VPC dash main route table. So this is the route table that is attached to the VPC. So if you create any subnets, they are all going to get that. But this is not the route table we want to create. We want to create our own route tables, isn't it? We want to create these route tables. So I'm going to start creating these route tables first. Everybody following me? I haven't created any subnets, but I'm going to create my route tables first, and then we will attach it to it. Okay? So you can create route tables now. So I'm going to create a route table. I'm going to call it as let's put a name called, CL10 space, or we can class 10 public route table. Okay. I'm going to call it as class 10 public route table, and I'm going to say which VPC that is. And I created that route table. I'm going to create another route table. We will see all that. Okay, there is a filter here. That's why you're not seeing that. If I click that, you will see all the things. So our route table is here actually. The route table that we created right now is here. It does not have only that default route. That is not enough, correct? We have to call it as things. So let's create all that, and then we will come back and modify that. So I'm going to create another route table, class 10 private route table 1. I'm going to attach it here. Everybody is following me, right? I'm creating the second route table. I'm doing the same thing. Okay, I just created this. I created this, and now I'm going to create this third route table. We'll add the routes and all later. I'm going to call it as class 10 private route table 2, and I'm attaching that to class 10 VPC. Okay, so if I am asking you, we created the route tables, we created the VPC, we created the DHCP option set, we attach, we do that. Now what is the next thing we need to create?
We need to create the internet gateway.
Okay, let's create the internet gateway. So right now there is no internet gateway attached to this VPC. So we'll go here and we'll create an internet gateway. We'll call it as class 10 IGW. Create it. It is detached right now. So you need to attach it to your VPC. And you attached it. Right now, your class 10 IGW, it is attached to the VPC. Now what we'll do? Next, what we need to do?
Subnet route table.
Now we need to create the subnets, right? Now we'll do one thing. Let's go and finish off the public route table, right? Public route table needs to add this IGW, correct? Then only it becomes a real public subnet, correct? We need to attach this, right, to that public route table. Every route table automatically gets a local route. So now we need to add this to make it a public route table. So let's go and do that. So we'll go to the route tables. You can actually pick now, filter it with the class 10. So only you will see only the route tables for that thing, right? That's a good thing. Otherwise, in a big environment, you're going to see so many things. So you should always filter that. So which one we need to add a route table here? This one or which one we need to add?
Third one.
In route table.
So we need to add, which route table should I add the IGW?
Public route table.
Public route table. Okay, so that's a public route table. We'll go to the routes and then we'll go to the edit button and then we'll say add another route. And what should I put here? 0.0.0.0/0, and then you type it, you will automatically see the IGW come here. So you just type the IGW and save it. So now this is a public route table. Is this a public route table? No.
No.
Is this a public route table? No.
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 Is the main route table a public route table?
No.
No.
So we only have one public route table. Now what we need to do next is we need to create subnets, correct?
Yes.
So class 10 do not have any subnets at this point, and let us start creating our route table. So I'm going to create public subnet 1, public subnet 2, and I want to make them public, external facing. In order to do that, I have to create them and I have to attach it with the public route table, isn't it? So let's do that. So I'm going to create a subnet. I'm going to call it as pub subnet 1, and then we're going to use the VPC, the CIDR block for that. See, the things got changed a little bit. Yesterday when I was teaching, it was a little different, right? I think Amazon made some changes. Yesterday it was not like this. Today it is little changed. Everything is changed a little bit here. So now that's the VPC CIDR block. Which availabilities on this should be? A. And the CIDR block should be 10.0.1.0/24. Correct? Create. All right. So now let's go and create another one. We call it as public subnet.
Can we copy the same subnet one more because
No.
okay.
Okay. So this one should go to 1-C, correct? And it is going to be 10.0.2.0/24. Yes. I think there are some things you can clone, but I'm not sure. Let me check that. Okay, whoever asked me, is there a option? You cannot do that. There is no copy option. So we created these two public subnets. Are they public subnets? Are they public subnets?
No, we need to
Let's look
connect
at the
to
route table
IGW.
attached to it. The route table attached to what is the route table attached to this now?
The
Main
private
route table.
Main route table.
Huh?
Main route table.
Main
Main route table. So is it a public route table?
No.
No.
So this is a public subnet?
No.
Not yet.
Even though the name is public subnet, it's not a public subnet by looking at that. Is how you need name does not have any meaning here. The route table determines whether it is a public or private. A subnet can have multiple subnets, route tables? Can a subnet can have multiple route tables?
No.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
No, only one route table can only be attached to a subnet, period. So what I'm going to do is I can actually change it here, but what I am going to do is I'm going to the route tables and I'm going to pick my public route table, and there is something called a subnet association. So this is a public route table. You can see that the IGW is there, and you can go and associate all the subnets that you want here. So I'll come here. This is the most easiest way. So I'll come here and edit this, and I'm going to say public subnet, and these two subnets I wanted to attach it to this route table, and I'm going to make it safe. Okay. So you can do it this way, or you can go and individually add one by one. Right now what I'm doing is I'm baking. So this was the question somebody asked me, can I attach one route table to two subnets which are in two availability zones? And that is exactly what I'm doing now, correct? These are two subnets in two different availability zones, but I'm attaching one route table to it. Why is it taking so much time?
We are attaching two subnets to one route table. Is that right?
I don't know, why is it timing out? First time I'm seeing this error. First time. Oh, hold on one second, okay guys, let's just see. Why is it timing out? Okay, it did it. Okay, what was the question?
No, I'm sorry. I got it. I was a bit confused.
Okay, so let's go and look at our subnets now. So the public subnet, is it now a public subnet?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Available?
Is this a public subnet?
Yes.
Why?
It has the
We have
IGW
connected to.
connect.
Okay, it has a route table which is a public route table. What about this one?
Yes.
Okay, so we good, right? So we are
Yes.
done with this top part, correct? Now we're going to create two private subnets. Now I'm going to move a little fast, okay? I think you all got it. So let's call it as a PVT subnet 3, and the subnet is A, and 10.0.3.0/24. Created.
So the VPC can have multiple CIDR blocks?
VPC, actually you can have an IPv6 and IPv4, but you cannot have the same IP version for CIDR block. It's not supported in Amazon. If you are in Microsoft Azure VNets, they support it, but Amazon does not support that.
Yeah, because that UI shows a table. That's why I asked the question. It looks like it's multiple rows. That's why. You see here.
What is that? Yeah, you can have the two subnets. That's why I told you earlier when you started the class, I told you, right, you can have a DHCP, sorry, you can have an IPv6 CIDR block. So you can select those two. That's why. You cannot have two same IPv4 subnets. You cannot do that.
Okay.
The VPC is not the right one, yeah.
All right. So we created two private subnets, but the route table needs to be changed, correct? So you can go to the private subnet route table and do it, or you can actually click on here and you can change it. You know, you go and change the route table. You know, this is not the route table we want. So we want to go to the route tables. Go to the route tables, pick the private route table 1, subnet association, edit, and attach the two private subnets here. Right now it is main. I'm attaching it to that. So I am done with this part also. We're done with this also, right? Now we're going to do this subnet. I'm just going to draw only the DB subnet. I'm not going to do, okay, we can do all that. Let's do it anyway. Let's go to the subnets, create subnets. Let's call it as a DB subnet 5. (10.0.5.0/24). Infrastructure subnet 6. (10.0.6.0/24), and I'll create one more just to finish off our design. I'll create one more subnet. One more we need to create. So we created 3 subnets here now in the bottom part. One database subnet and 2 infrastructure subnets, and I'm going to attach all of them to the route table here. I'm going to attach the second route table to them. I could have used the same thing because the route tables are same. I'm just going to attach it here. So I'm going to attach these 3 to that subnet route table. Okay, is this clear for everybody so far?
Yes.
So I think that's it. You kind of designed a thing, understanding that concept is the key thing. So we basically created all these things. So we basically did all these things actually, guys. We did a little more actually. We created a DHCP option set. We enabled the routing. We created the VPC. We created all the subnets. Now you need to put servers into this, correct? So now I'm going to my environment here. I'm going to the EC2 and I'm going to create certain instances here. I'm not going to use my AMI. I need actually Windows Servers 2012 to do my stuff. So I'm going to use a Windows Server 2012 base. I'm going to create a T2 micro. Next. And the VPC is class 10 VPC. This is going to be my external web server. So which subnet I should put it?
Public.
Correct. I had to put it in public subnet 1. Okay. Now, you remember when we created the subnets, we didn't put that option of automatically enabling IP address. That is the default. You know how to change that, correct? Everybody understand that? Remember in the last class I showed you, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that, but you can actually do that, okay? So I'm not going to do that, but we need a public IP address, correct? If you want to access, that's a web server that needs to have public IP address, correct? But I am not going to use any public IP address, automatic public address, because that is my real web server. Is the public IP address automatically assigned public IP address going to remain same, or it is going to change over a period?
It's going to change.
It's going to change when you power on and power on. So you cannot rely on that because your website is going to run on that IP address. Every time the IP changes, you will have a problem, correct? So what you need an elastic IP address for that, isn't it? You need to
Yes.
put elastic IP address. So right now I'm not going to use any public IP address there. We have a, okay, that's fine. We will create that. So that's the thing. So we are not going to do that. I'm not going to join this to Active Directory. If you want, you can join it to Active Directory and all. I'm not going to get into that. If your company is having, you can specify that. You can attach a role to this if you want. So normally, I'm not talking about roles also. We will get into that later. You don't need that. All these things are good. You don't need to do anything. This is the default network card. Click storage. 30 gig hard disk, good enough. And I'm going to call it as external web server, external dash web SRV 001. That's the name of the server. You need to create a security group. We don't have any security group. Did we create any security group? Security groups are within the VPC, right? So we have to create a security group. So I'm going to create a security group, and then this is one. These are the things that you need to be careful. I think you should name it properly. So I'm going to call it as, external dash web dash SRV slash security group. Okay.
What if you select the same security group for two different VPCs?
You cannot. A security group is only within a VPC. If you click on existing VPCs, you don't see anything. Are you seeing? You only see the default security group. There is nothing. So every security groups are within a VPC. So you created a new VPC, so there is no security groups here. That's why. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
So you do that, and right now, actually, it's a web server, so I don't need RDP port to test that. I don't want any RDP port or anything, but for now, we need to connect. We don't have VPN and all, so I'm just putting RDP there. I'm not going to give access to anybody. I'm only giving access to myself. That is my IP. That is my IP address. So if you want to do this, then this is the best way. So I can 100% sure that nobody else can connect. Only from my home, even if I'm from my office or my friend's place, I cannot connect. I have to be in this IP address, which is my home IP address. Is the only IP address I can do RDP there. But since it's a web server, external web server, so I'm going to run a website which is in HTTP port. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to say that is anywhere in the world, people can do that. So this, you see this new thing, this is all new things. Okay, I just started seeing these things. A lot of changes Amazon is doing, man. Every day they are changing. You see this ::/0. :/0 is actually for IPv6 thing. They just started adding that. Okay, it was not there in the past, but now they started doing that. I also wanted a web's HTTPS also, so I'm just going to put that also for this. I don't want to do any ping or anything. I'm just putting RDP. That's good enough. So this is my external web server security group. Review and launch. And launch. We need to have a key pair. So I'm going to say choose an existing key pair. I'm going to select our class 10. Now there is a problem. Okay, this is a Virginia key pair. Correct? Remember we had a problem, right? Muthu was telling, key pair has to be region specific. So this is a class 10 key pair we created for Virginia. Everybody remember that? Anybody remembers this? This is a key pair that we used for Virginia, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to launch this instance. Okay, let that instance come up. I'm going to launch another instance. Same thing, server 2012 R2 base. I'm going a little fast here. I'm going to select class 10, and this one I want to put it in my second subnet. This is the server. This is the server I built now. Now I'm going to put it in this subnet. Okay, so it should be in public subnet 2, isn't it? That's all you need to do here. Click next. Click next. What is the name of the first server we give? External web server 001. So we'll call it as 002. Now, do I need to create a new security group or not?
No.
Yes. No.
So we already have one.
They both are going to have the same security group, because they are in the same VPC and they are same properties and things. So I don't want to do another one. So I'm going to select the same security group. So I will have all that properties. We'll get it easy. So I'm doing that. Choose an existing key pair, and I'm doing that, and I'm finishing that. So that's it. Okay. Good. Now, I also want to introduce a new thing to you. It's not a good idea to have people RDPing to these servers and all. So normally, companies do is they build a server here in this network. It can be normally a Windows server or a Linux server, and that server is called as a Bastion host. Have you heard about something called Bastion host?
Is it like a DMZ?
Yeah, Bastion host. Just do a Google search for Bastion host, you will get an idea. So this is like a place, so basically I don't want everybody to connect to each of the server. So you need a Bastion host to get in there, and then from there you can RDP. So the goal is here is like this. Let me ask you one question here to everybody. So this server now gets a public IP address. It is not there now, but we're going to give a public IP address to this. We're going to give a public IP address to this. So you can access this server, correct? But can I give a public IP address? You can give, but will this IP address, if I give a public IP address to this server, will it work? Can I RDP to that server, even if I provide the security group?
No, you cannot do it. Because internet gateway is not there.
That's right. Everybody does you guys understand what I'm saying? Can I RDP to this server from outside world?
No, you cannot. Yeah.
There's no IGW. Sir.
No IGW there, correct?
Right.
So how do people normally, if you don't have a VPN or anything, I still want to log into the server, right? If I want to do something, if I want to configure my application or if I want to configure my database, how do I do it? I will connect from my home through IGW. I will RDP to my Bastion host first. That is why I need a Bastion host. And then from my Bastion host, can I RDP to the servers?
You can.
Yeah.
So that is the purpose
yes,
of a Bastion host. Okay.
So basically, that serves like a jump server.
Correct. That is jump server. That is exactly what a Bastion host is. That's another name of jump server.
Okay. I see that. One of my clients implemented that. So now I get the purpose of it now.
Correct. So this is how do it. If you don't have VPN and all, but right now this is the only way I can RDP to the servers because I'm going to do that. Okay. So keep that in mind. So for that purpose, I could use one of the server to do a jump server, but I don't want to do that. I want to have a dedicated server. This is how you really need to build an environment. So I'm just showing you that. So let's go and build one more server for our jump start purpose. And that is that we can actually use our no, that has a hard okay. For jump server, we can actually use our AMI. This is Windows 2016. Okay. Bastion VPC, and I can put it. I have to put it in which subnet? Tell me.
B, the second one.
Private subnet. Private subnet.
Okay, tell me which subnet I should put, everybody. Type your
C.
answers there.
Number
Public subnet.
3.
Okay.
Number 3. Public number
It
2.
should be the public subnet.
Public subnet.
How many public subnets I have?
2.
Okay, so in that one, which one I should put?
The second
Number
one.
2.
Yeah.
Why second one? Why can't I put it in one?
You can put it in one.
Or you can put it, but according to diagram, you have to put in 2.
Correct. Okay, that is a correct answer. So you can put it in any one, but according to the diagram, I am putting it in 2. That's the right answer, right? So let's put it in public subnet 2.
Are you creating the Bastion host now?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
So this one, I don't need that extra hard disk, so I'm deleting that. Simply waste of storage. I deleted that because our AMI had that. This is our custom AMI. In this one, do I need to use a key pair for this one?
No, no, we already created a user for that.
Now you need to create a security group for this. Called as Bastion Host, that security group, and we need definitely RDP to that.
But
Again,
it's the same VPC, right? Why do you have to create a new security group?
because I don't want port number 80 or port number HTTP or anything to my Bastion host. The only thing I want to my Bastion host is I just want to RDP to it. That's it.
Okay.
Because the Bastion host is just for me to get into my environment. We should not open up all the ports and all. That will become a Bastion host is something that is exposed to the outside world. So you have to be very controlled on what you are opening there. So I'm just opening only RDP, and that is only for my purpose.
Cherian, do you have the static IP address or what? You can also change, right?
No, my IP, this is a static IP address.
Okay, that's
In your case also, normally it won't change, but it can change. If it changes, you have a problem. Yes, it's not going to work.
In earlier security
If it changes,
group,
you have
we
to go back
given-
to the you have to go back to the properties and change it with the new IP address. That's all.
okay.
You won't be able to connect it, but until you change this, you won't be able to connect. But I have a static IP address for this class purpose and all. I have a static IP.
But in the earlier security groups, I think we can remove the RDP right now.
I can,
Because
but
we are creating
I don't want to do any. You're right. You're absolutely right. You can change that, but I'm just
Okay.
putting it there because I wanted to connect to that. So this one without key pair, I'm just building that. So
You need to buy that static IP?
yes, you have to. You can tell Verizon they will give you. So we are done with the top part. Everybody is clear on that? Now I am skipping this second subnet, that is application servers. Right now, we can build that probably in the next class or something. What I want to do now is I wanted to build a database server, a SQL Server database on this subnet 5. Okay? No, we have to build these servers also to teach you something else. The time is running out, so let's go and fast do this.
This Bastion host is used only when there's no VPN, right?
You can use any time if you have VPN or not. The Bastion host is a server that allows you to connect. That's it. Don't just simply by heart, Elton. Try to understand what is it. Don't just buy and don't simply what is the purpose. Think in that way. When I say okay, that is a host that can connect, the thing. That's the way you need to think about it. If you have VPN also, you can still have a Bastion host.
Okay, gotcha.
If your VPN goes down, how do you get in? So every company normally have a Bastion host. In our environment also we have Bastion host, but the Bastion host is powered off. We don't need that Bastion host. But in case if we lose VPN and we want to connect to our servers then we will go and power on our Bastion host and then we use it, because you don't want to have your Bastion host exposed to the network all the time.
Good.
But these are all things that you have to come up with ideas.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so I'm going to create another instance. Again, I'm going to use a Windows. Can I use a Windows server there? I mean, anything is fine. I'll use a Windows.
So, Deepu, quickly, so from your one of your instances in your private subnet, you connect to Bastion host, and from Bastion host you access internet. That is
No. Now you're talking the other way around. We'll be addressing that. That's where we're going to see the NAT and all those things will come into picture. We'll just give it some time. I don't think we'll be able to do that today. We'll do that on Sunday. But I just want you to understand this, so let us slowly build it, okay? I understand that's a very good question, but that's not the purpose of Bastion host. If you want your instances to go out, we'll see that. Let us first test these things, okay?
Okay, sure. Thanks.
So this is going to the private subnet, which we call it as, what is the thing we call it as? Private subnet. 3 and 4.
Oh, DB.
Yeah, no, I'm just building a private subnet 3. Okay. I'm building this server, guys. What is it? Oh, I cannot move that. Okay. I'm building this server right now. So private subnet 3, all that things are ready. Next. Let's call it a subnet for that. Okay. Here, I can put 0.0.0, that's fine. I can put anywhere, but it's not going to work that way. So we'll see that. I just put this. This is not the way you want to do it, but I'm just putting 0.0 for now. RDPX, that's the only thing I need now. Even though it is 0.0.0, nobody can access that server from external because it is going to be in a private subnet which does not have an IGW. Okay, we'll look into that in a minute. Okay, so I'm building that server also. Let me go back and let me just build one more server here, and then we will see that. I wanted to show that this is a database server I'm going to build in DB subnet 5. So I'm going to launch an instance, and I'll come all the way down here. I will select a SQL Server Standard Edition. This requires some M4. This will cost you some money when you guys are trying. If you have Management Studio and all, you can probably try with SQL Express. I don't want to install that, so I'm actually going to go with the SQL Server Standard Edition. It won't cost me that much money, don't worry, but it will cost me some money also. So I'm going to use a SQL Server 2012. It will cost me a little bit. SQL Server 2012 R2 with SQL Server Standard Edition. This is what I'm going to use. Okay. You see here, I don't have any option. I cannot use T2 Nano, T2 Micro, T2 Small. Nothing is available. So the only option available for me is the minimum is T2 Large, T2 Extra Large. That will come with 4 gig, 4 CPUs and 16 gig RAM. This is the cheapest I can use, or I can go for a M4 large. M4 large is going to be more costlier than T2 large. Or yes or no? Can anybody tell me? Is T2 large is big or M4 large is big?
M4 large is big.
Look at the settings.
Even though the processor and the RAM is low, there's an option called if that might change the price.
Correct. That's the answer actually. Even though T2 extra large, we can look at the instance pricing. Let's go and look at that. It is interesting to me also. AWS instance pricing. Let's just take a quick look at that. On-demand pricing. Windows server with SQL standard. They are providing T2 large now here, but that's not there. Let's look at this. I think T2 large is not supported for that. Okay, so T2 large is 0.156 per hour, correct? M4 large is 0.231, which is costlier. It has only 2 CPUs and 8 processors, whereas T2 has 4 processors and 16 GB RAM, which is costly. Actually, this is costly, right?
Depends on the region, right? It's Asia Pacific.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we are in Asia Pacific. Let's go to US East Virginia. T2 large is T2 extra large is 2.29 and M4 large is 2.03. So actually M4 is cheaper, correct? Little. A slight difference is there, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So let's go with M4 large. So I don't want to spend too much money. Do that. Do this. And which subnet it should go? DB subnet 5, correct?
Yes.
And all that things are ready. Click storage. I think that's all fine. I'm good with that. So you see that automatically a SQL Server comes with 50 gig hard drive. If you can add more, so I'm going to call it as SQL Server 001 security group. I'm going to call it as, SQL server security group. This server security group, you see that automatically they added 1443 because that is actually the SQL Server's default port. If you want to change the port, you can change it. 1443 is the default database port for SQL Server. So that's they're using, and I'm going to use RDP also. We'll do that. Do this. Select that key pair. Launch instance. So we build quite some servers now. We build all these things. I'm not going to build any domain controllers or anything, but if you look at it, guys, we build this server, we build this server, we build this guy, we build this guy, and we build this guy. Everybody okay on that so far?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So that's good. So let's now go and do some testing. Let's go here, do all that filtering so we can see that all our servers are getting ready. So the first thing, I know you guys can not check because I have restricted my IP addresses here. So now the first thing is we want to test our web servers. So the external web server 001, does it have a public IP address? See, this is the thing, a private IP address. So I wanted to talk a little bit about this here. You can see that they changed a lot look and feel of this thing today. Yesterday and all the IP address was here, right? Now they have changed everything. You see that? This is from today. I'm seeing a lot of changes in my look and feel. So you can see that, the things, it was all the other side yesterday, but now they changed a little bit. So look at here.
The Ethernet port.
What is that?
No, yeah, the Ethernet port was on left side, now it's on right side.
Yeah, everything was here. Now today it's all here. They're changing here.
Yeah. They also added the IPv4. I think they are making case for the IPv4 and 6. Yeah.
Yeah, they added all the things. Okay, so this is our first server, external web server 001. It is up and running. It has a IP address 10.0.1.110. Do you think that makes sense based on our subnet? What is our subnet's IP? This is in public. This is in private subnet. This is in private subnet 1. 10.0.1.0 subnet. So is that IP address make sense?
Yes.
It did. And this is that fully qualified, EC2.internal. Can anybody tell me where did it get that EC2.internal from?
DHCP set options.
Correct. It got it from the DHCP option set. In that DHCP option set, we said the DNS is actually EC2.internal. Correct? Now, the server has a private IP address. How many network cards this server is having?
2.
1.
It only has one network card, correct? If you look at the properties of this network card, you can see that it is in this VPC. This is the IP address here, but there is no public IP address or elastic IP address. This is the private DNS name. We will get a public DNS name now. So this is not getting a public IP address. Now, one thing I want to tell you, at the time of launching, if you don't enable that private, remember when you launch an instance, you get this option here, auto assign public address, right? If you don't select it and you proceed, you never get that back. You cannot put that back, okay? It is a first setting. So if you want a public IP address automatically, then you got to do that. Otherwise, your subnet should automatically support it, correct? But our subnets are all having automatic IP addressing disabled. Are you guys following me? Okay?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Let's go here. So I don't want to do that. Let me go back here. EC2. So this is our instance, external web server. So now I need to connect to this server. How do I connect? I don't have VPN or anything. Can I connect to 10.10.0.1? Can I ping?
No.
Can I ping 10.0.1.110?
No.
No, you can do it through Bastion Host.
Okay, how do I get into Bastion Host? Because I cannot do that because this is a private IP address, okay? So here is the thing, I think I might have mentioned here in the class. So in Amazon, you have a network card, okay? This network card by default gets a private IP address 10.0.1.110. Now you are going to attach a private public IP address. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to attach an elastic IP that is called as EIP. EIP is a permanent static IP you're buying from Amazon, okay? Permanent public IP. It is a publicly available IP address you're permanently buying. It's a public IP address. But that IP address is also getting binded to the same network card. And internally they do some natting. So when you connect to that server, you are actually connecting to the public IP address, which will internally route NAT it. It will basically do a natting internally. Network address translates to this IP address. So actually the server's IP address is the private IP address. The public IP address is only for public access. So internally, if you have one server here and another server here, let's say this server is having an internal IP of 110 and a public IP of something like 72.85.3.33. From this internal server, let's say this internal server's IP address is 10.0.1.11. Can I ping from 10.0.11 this server to this IP address? I cannot. But I can ping this IP address, 10.0.1.110. Internal IPs you can ping, but from external. You getting what I'm saying? So I don't confuse. I will make this clear, but let's go and do one thing. So we want to test that server is accessible or not. So for that, first thing we need to do is we have to go to elastic IPs, and then you need to buy an elastic IP address. Okay, I have already one. This will cost me money. It will be around EIP pricing, you can do that.
Last time we checked, right? $1 is.
Yeah, I think $1. We did that. Okay, so don't worry. Let's move on that. So I'm going to attach this, associate this. I'm going to associate that IP address to our instance. What is our server's name? External web server 001. Okay. I just attached it and associate it. Good. So now if you go here, you will see your server. You go to your public server. It has a public IP address. And it also has a public DNS name, and that is because of that change we did on the VPC initially. Remember, we enabled the DNS resolution and host name. So that name is resolvable in the internet now. EC2-34.96.2.0 on compute-1.amazonaws.com. That is the actual DNS name for this server, and this is the thing. So I'm going to now attach the public IP address. Will this IP ever change? This IP will not change. So I want to do an RDP test, right? So I'm going to say connect. I need to get the password first. So I'll go here, choose the file. Where is our file? Desktop. I think we put it as class 10 PEM file, not PPK. PPK is used for which situation you use PPK file?
Linux.
Linux.
Right. So this is the password. I'm going to connect to RDP. And I'm able to connect to this server. Okay. Let's log into this server. We have to do a couple things here. I don't think we'll be able to finish all these things today, but let us just do little things and then we'll continue to in the next class. There's no class tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. Next class is Sunday, but Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, next week, whole week we'll have class, okay? Unless otherwise I don't have any major issues. All right, so this server is coming. Let this come up. I'm just keeping this in the side. Let us go and check the second server that is also ready. Let's look at does it have a public IP address? No. So I want to attach an elastic IP to that. So what should I do? I have to go and create a new elastic IP address, correct? It's going to cost me some money, but I'm going to create a new IP address. Allocate. So they gave me a new IP address now. I go there. This is the new IP address. Associate it. And I'm going to select external web server 2. You see that they will put the instance ID name and then associate it. That is the second server. So we have the second server also got the IP address. Guys, everybody is understanding this, right? I know some people are saying yes, but are you all getting this?
Yes, sir.
Anudeep, Ali Baker and all, are you guys understand? Ali Baker, you are completely quiet. Abhishek, so many people are quiet. Dinesh Suluguri. Okay. Karthik, you're always quiet. All right. Are you understanding, Karthik, things?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Is this NAT instance? Is it all about?
Sorry, what is that? Who is that?
This is Sridhar.
Yes, what is that?
Is this all about NAT instance, right?
NAT? No. What do you mean by natting? No, we are not doing natting. Natting, we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Natting is a whole different thing. It's a very interesting topic. We will be looking into that next class. I don't think I'll be able to do it. Right now, we are not doing natting. We are actually connecting from external world to our servers.
Okay, just creating elastic IPs.
We are just
And,
attaching elastic IPs. That's it.
okay.
But internally, there is some natting happening. I know that's why you might have asked that question. So the connection is coming to this public IP, which is internally natted to the private IP. Actually, the server's IP address is this, but for the outside world, it is this. So
we are routing to the internet.
So if I try to browse internet from this server, let's say you have a web server. Let's say, Sridharma, you have a web server in your home, okay, or in GoDaddy. And I'm going to access from this server, external web server. I'm getting into that server and I'm going to browse your website, sridharma.com. You will see a request coming from my server, correct?
Correct.
Which IP address you will see? You see 10.0.2.214 or you will see 34.198?
34.
You will see 34. So there is a natting actually happening. My actual server's IP address is private. Now, a couple more things I wanted to tell you. The private IP address is the actual IP address of your instance, which is getting from the subnet. And that IP address will never change during the life of that instance. Even if you shut down the instance or power off the instance, that IP address will never change. Even if that instance is off, you cannot give that IP address to another instance manually. You can give manually IP addresses. If you don't want DHCP, you can manually assign an IP address. But if you try to do that, VPC will say, hey, no, you cannot do that because I know that I have given this IP address to this guy. So you cannot use that because VPC don't know when that actual server is going to come up. Understand? So this is the second server. We just attached the IP address. It should have the security group, everything. So now let us go and connect to this guy. I need to get the password of.
So the elastic IP address attached, why it is automatically assigned to the public IP address also? It shouldn't be, right?
I didn't get your question, Muthu.
When the elastic IP address attached, it should be assigned to only the elastic IP address part, right? It is also assigning to the public IP address part.
Okay.
It's assigning to the.
I understand your question. 1 minute. So this is the second server I'm logging in. Let it connect so that we can talk. All right. So both servers are connected. So so the question is. The question is what he's asking is when I attach an EIP, why is it putting it into public IP address? See here, why is it not putting as EIP? So EIP itself is a public IP. They have a different name for that. That's it. So if you just click on a Bastion host, look at the Bastion host now. Okay, let me show you this. When you put a Bastion host, I think they changed that. In the past or in your environments, you see an EIP there, but I don't see that anymore. It is gone. In the past, they used to put it as EIP there. But elastic IP or public IP, they both are public, so it is same. You understand what I'm saying? Elastic IP or the automatic public IP, they both are public IPs. It doesn't matter. Elastic IP is a name for static public IP addresses. Elastic IPs are a name for public static IP addresses. If your instance is automatically getting a public IP address, then you call it as a public IP address. Does that make sense? So if you look here and you click here and click next, see here. Auto assign public IP. Public IP is a DHCP assigned IP, a IP address that can change, but it is still a public IP. An elastic IP is also a public IP, but the difference there is an elastic IP will never change as long as you have it, you buying that. Make sense?
Yeah, but if it is coming from DHCP as a public IP, then the elastic IP address column will be blank. I think it will be blank. It will not be set.
Correct. That is right. If it is coming, then the elastic IP column will be blank. That is correct. But that is what I'm saying. In my environment, there is no elastic IP option now here. because they changed it. In the past, if it was yesterday, there was an option, but today they changed the look and feel it. So they took that option out from my thing. So you may be still seeing that EIP. I am not seeing that. Can anybody, you getting what I'm saying? If you guys, your look may be a little different. I just got a new interface today, so they changed something here. In the past, it was showing EIP also there, but now they are not showing for me. Can you guys check your accounts? Anybody? You will see probably an EIP there.
No, I see just like yours.
Okay. All right. Anyway, no, never mind. That is okay. It is here. Sorry, guys. It is here. See, Elastic IP is here. You see that? It is here. So let's look at in this server. See here, Elastic IP is same as public IP. It is here. So they are saying it is an Elastic. They are saying this public IP is actually an Elastic IP, but the IP is same. Correct? That, guys, understanding what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Vijay, you're right. It was there. Okay, I thought I was looking. So the look is same. It is actually the same IP. All right. So what I want to do first thing is before these two servers, I don't want to use these passwords all the time. And we will be using these servers for a long term, at least end of the course. So I just want to change the password of this administrator here. Welcome 22. Just remember, okay, I'm just using the password as WELCOME22. Welcome 22 is the password I'm using there. Okay, so that is the first server. And then this is the second server. What's the time? 10:46. Okay.
So this host name is totally different from the host name we have for instance, right?
Correct. You have to change that. In a normal Windows world, you have to change that to the actual.
Right.
We can do that, and as you said, that is correct. So let's do that also. And all we need is to do a reboot. We'll do that. Once you change the password, then you don't need that key pair because you know the password. Correct? If you know the password, then you don't need the key pair,
Right.
correct? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What happened? Okay. All right. So just like whoever asked, I just want to change the name of this server. So this is our which server is this?
Second.
How do you know?
You were doing the second one, right?
No, I just connected to both. So hold on one second. We can find
Okay.
out. What is the IP address here? 34.57, right?
I think it's private subnet 3.
I think 57 is this 209.57. 209.57. That is the name of the server. So that is going to be called as external-web server 001. So I'm going to change the name of the server. Change the name of the server as external-web. Okay. Now you can join domain and all. We're not doing that. So NetBIOS name is not supporting 15 characters. So that's fine. These are all limitations. So say OK, and Restart later. I'm not restarting it now. Let's change the name of the other server also. So this is not that server. What was the server? That was 2, right? Or 1, right?
I think SVR.
Okay, so we have these 2 servers ready. Let's do one thing. These servers, these external web servers are attached to a public subnet. That means I should be able to browse internet from this server, right?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
I should be, right? So
Mm-hmm.
let's go and test that a minute. Just want to disable this IE enhanced thing. All right, I'm just testing one server here. Works, correct? It's a public server, correct?
Right.
All right. So I will just minimize this and let us go and select this app server now. App server is again an AMI Windows server. Look at this. This is very interesting. Okay, you got to be careful here. This is an app server. Which is this server? When I say app server, I'm talking about this server. Is that server in a public subnet or a private subnet?
Private.
Okay. So can I connect to that server now?
No, you cannot.
How do I connect? I need to get into the server to see whether it can browse internet or not.
Jump server.
Can I attach an IP address to it?
You can use the other server, the web server, and
Okay.
RDP from that server, right?
All right. I just, for your purpose, I'm actually going to take another risk here. I'm going, not risk, I'm going to buy another IP address just to show you. Even I wanted to test this. I'm going to assign a new IP address. Okay, this is $3. That's okay. I attached a new IP address and I'm going to attach this to my app server 001. It is in private subnet. I'm attaching a public elastic IP address to my instance. Isn't it? So I got a public IP address here, elastic IP address. Everybody following me? So can I attach to this server? Now let's look at the security group. That's how you know whether you can RDP to that. The security group says RDP is anywhere. So from anywhere in the world I should be able to RDP to that server. Are you guys following me? The security group attached to that server says you can do RDP from anywhere in the world. Is that correct? Huh?
Yes.
Oh, it is, okay. So let's see if we can RDP to that server.
I guess not, because the router does not have IGW, right?
That is what we should see. So let's see. So connect, get the password. So I got the password for it now. And now I'm going to connect to it. It has a public IP address. And I'm trying to connect to that public IP address. It is not connecting. So what I wanted to prove from here is, even though your server is in a private subnet, you can still attach a public IP address to it, but it is of no use. That is what I wanted to tell you. Just by having a public IP address doesn't mean that you can connect to that server. Look at this, guys. This is what I'm trying to tell you. I attached a public IP address to this server. Okay, I attached a public elastic IP address to this server. But this subnet do not have a connection to this IGW. So I am trying to connect from here to here. Is it possible? It is not possible because IGW is not attached to this subnet. Because the route table attached to this subnet is a private route table, isn't it? So that is not possible. But I still want to connect to this server. How do I connect? Now I want to connect. I want to log into that server. I know the password. I want to connect to that server. Can anybody tell me how do I log into that server now?
Using bashing server?
Okay. I am saying I don't have a Bastion server now.
Then you use the, the first one we have, RDP from that server.
Correct. So what I can do is, everybody understanding this? If you guys don't understand this, then it's a problem is there, okay? So what I can do is, from my house, I will RDP to this server first. That is possible or not?
Yeah, that's possible.
Okay. Yeah. When that is possible, now I am on an internal network, correct? Internal networks, they all can communicate using the internal router. So from this server, I can RDP to this server using the internal IP address. You getting what I'm saying? Let's see what happens, okay?
Yeah.
And that is what the purpose of Bastion Host, but I'm not going to get into the Bastion Host now because we don't have time. It's already 10:56. So what I'm going to do is now look at this. So do I need a public IP address to that instance?
No.
No. So let me first go and see 142.53. 142.53 I'm going to release. Disassociate.
So you're using it right away, right? Will you still be charged for...
I'll be charged. No, even as long as I delete, then only they will not charge. Anyway, I have to pay $1 for this month, so I will be using it for 1 month. These three IP addresses. Don't worry about that. Even if I delete it, I have to pay for 1 month.
I mean,
so
like,
how do we restrict that the app server to be connected only through Bastion Host, not through any other server on the
very good question, and that is exactly we want to do it. We will be doing that. Is why I'm saying I'm not getting into the design, so we'll slowly do that. That's all. That, I mean, if you really understand security groups, it is simple for you. You can go to the security group of that server and explicitly say, okay, that IP can only connect, which I will show you in the next class. I don't have time now, okay? Which you can try, but you should do it that way. That is the right way to do it, not like allowing everybody. Anyway, so let's go back to our instance now. Let's look at this app server now. App server do not have any more public IP, but it still has a private IP address of 10.0.
Dibu, I have a quick question here. I request for an elastic IP. I use it for about 15 to 20 minutes for my purpose, and then I say I go there, delete it. Will I still be charged?
Yes, you will be charged for 1 month, $1.
Okay, just for requesting itself, it will be charged.
Okay, this charge for $1 for one IP address for 1 month. So once you start it, they will charge you for 1 month.
Okay.
All right, so this is the password we need to connect to that Windows server, okay? So just remember this IP address, guys. App server's IP address is 3.112, okay? So I'm going to get on to one of our Windows server. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to start a remote desktop from here. And I'm going to try 10.0.3.112. Are you understanding? I'm doing a Bastion. I'm making this web server as a Bastion host now. I connected here. And then I'm putting the password. Oh, I lost the password. Okay, it is. I have to type it here. It is not pasting. KLKTYS 6LYJ. See, I logged into that server. Are you guys following me, guys? I am now connecting to this server 10.0.3. So this is that Windows server. I see a lot of silence here. Guys, you guys are understanding what I'm doing? If you're not...
Yes, sir.
Yeah, got it.
Got it.
Okay, see, so I was able to get into that server. Now, if I go to another Windows server, if I go to the second web server, can I do the same thing to this server?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
If I go to the Bastion host, can I connect? Okay, now look at this. What I'm going to do is, and this is what Muthu asked. I am going to say, I'm going to look at the internal app servers security group. Before that, I want to know the IP address of my Bastion host, which is 2.13. You see that? So I'm going to copy that. And look at what I'm going to do is, I'm going to the app servers security group. In the app server security group, RDP is saying 0.0.0.0, correct? Anywhere can RDP. But instead I'm going to say RDP can be only done by this guy. Now, who can RDP to that server?
Only app server can.
Only.
So right now, everybody.
No, I'm going
you have two rules.
I'm going to save it now.
Yeah.
Now, only from this server you can RDP. Isn't it? I'll remove this also.
Yeah. Okay. Now.
Only from this server you can RDP now. What is this server? What server's IP address is that? That is the Bastion server's IP address. See, this got disconnected. You see that? Can I connect from this server again? From the web server?
No.
Let's try.
No.
See, 10.3. Thing I'm trying to connect. It will not connect. Now if I want to connect to that server, my only option is what?
Go to Bastion server and
I have to go to Bastion host because I'm allowing traffic from Bastion host to any app servers. So these are things that you can try. I'm not going to do that, but this is how you, believe me, when you become a cloud administrator, majority of your issues are related to security group and these type of problems, connection problems. Your application owners, your DBAs and all going to bug you a lot because they're going to say, I cannot connect, I cannot do that. Now, if you don't want this problem, you can put everything 0.0.0, but then you will be at risk. So you don't want to do that. You have to have definitely tight securities in place to protect your servers. But when you go for that level of tightness, you're also going to have challenges from different teams, that they cannot do that, they won't be able to access that and this, but you need to have a good idea on that. Okay, so we have done so far these things. I want to do one more thing. Okay, I'm taking few more minutes here, guys. Just a few more minutes. So we want to test from Bastion host. I want to get the IP address of the Bastion host. Bastion host don't have a public IP address, so we have to attach our Elastic IP address to the Bastion host now. Okay, I did that. And now I will go to, give me a few more minutes, okay? I just want to show you one more thing before we finish today. So this is the Bastion host connecting here. Why can't I get the password? Did I change the password of Bastion host?
Like it's a image?
No, not yet.
No, Bastion host is the image. See, that's why.
Yeah.
You're right. Who said that actually?
Dinesh?
Dinesh, good. All right, good catch, man. So actually we know the password for this, right? Welcome to that. So see, you can see that the AMI ID is Wind class 10 image. So we never used a key pair. That's why it was not showing that thing option when I tried to connect. So we can just connect to that host. And we know the password for it. I think the password was welcome to. So no. What was the password? Welcome 1? No. Oh no. No.
It's admin and
It was
welcome
admin.
to.
Yeah, you're right. Admin. Okay, so you guys are at least focusing. That's good. How do I change this? All right, so welcome Tutu. That's good. You're all perfect. So again, same name is not correct, so we should change it to Bastion host, which we'll change now. All right, so I'm on the Bastion host now. It's a 2016 server. Can I RDP to that app server from here now? Do you think it is possible?
Yes.
If that security group rule is correct, then we should do it. So you see that when I put that thing, I use a /32. /32 is an explicit assignment. Okay, if you want to give a particular IP address, then you should use /32. So I have to use /32 and connect to that server. Sorry, not /32. I have to connect to that server. That's my first goal. And then I wanted to show you, can I access internet from there? That is what we're going to see. Do you think I will be able to access internet? We were able to access internet from both the external web servers, but from the internal app server, do you think I'll be able to access internet?
Technically, you shouldn't be able to.
Because it's a part of same subnet.
The question is, I was able to access internet from here. I was able to access internet from here. I'm sure I'll be able to access internet from here also. Now, question is, can I access internet from this guy right now?
No.
Why?
Yeah.
Private subnet, no IG.
No.
There is no IG internet gateway.
There is no IG connected, right? Yeah.
Okay. All right. It is not possible right now because it is in a private subnet. There is no internet gateway. Okay. But just keep this in your mind. We will not be doing this today, but keep in mind, this is my Windows server. I need this server to get, I don't want anybody to browse Google or Yahoo or Gmail or anything from here, but I want this server to go to Microsoft site to download all the patches. I want this server to go to McAfee site to download all the antivirus definitions. Will that possible right now?
Not right now.
Right now, it is not.
Okay. So I want these two things to happen. Only these two things. I want this server to go to yahoo.com or microsoft.com or something like that. Okay. How do I provide that? And to do that, we use something called as Nat Instances. We will put a Nat instance here, or Nat Gateway. Amazon has now a Nat. And I used to teach Nat Instances. I don't think I'll be doing that in this class now. But there is something called as Nat Gateways. Amazon now provides that. So we will use that NAT provided, and then it will use the NAT to go to that. I will explain later in the class. But what we're going to do now is we're going to RDP to this server from the Bastion host and going to see whether it can go to internet or not. As per our learning, this should not be able to go to internet now. But once I put the NAT, this guy will be able to go to internet. And I will show you that in the next class. But you understand what I'm trying to tell you, right? How do you provide? So this is very needed in internal networks sometimes, not all servers. Normally you don't need all your servers to go. This is my WSUS server, my Microsoft update. So this is my SEP server, which wants to go. Or maybe, how many of you know VMware vCenter? Your vCenter server need to go to VMware site to download all the patches, correct? But you don't want your database servers to go. You don't want your internal application servers to go. No. But you want certain servers in your network, internal network, to have access to internet. How do you provide that? Oh, I want my vCenter to go to VMware to download the patches. Oh, it is in private subnet, so I cannot do that. So let me put that in public subnet. Is that the answer? My Symantec antivirus server, it needs to download all the antivirus DAT files every day, night, 12 o'clock. It has to go and download all the latest antivirus definitions. It is a very critical server in my network. Do I need to put that server in public subnet? Is that the answer? Or do I provide some kind of a netting so that being internally, it can still go to outside world? That is the right way to do it, right? So that is where this NATing will come into picture, or the NAT appliance will come into picture, and we will learn that in next class, okay? So let's just finish off the class right now. We are on that server, the Bastion host right now. Somebody is sleeping, but that's fine. It's already 11:15. No, I'm not kidding, man. There was 7-8 years back, there was I used to teach in my house, so there are students used to come to my house, and there was a guy, and he's now working for Cognizant. I know how many times I kicked his head. He sleeps right in front of me. I'm talking like huge VMware stuff, and he sleeps right in front of me. So this is much better there. So that's okay. It's already 11:15. Let's go and find out what's the IP address of our app server. 3.112, correct? All right, so this is the thing. So 10.0.3.112. If our security group rules are all correct, I should be able to connect to this server. Here you go, I connected. Administrator, and what was the password? Did I change the password there?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it is KLKTYS6LYJ. Here you go. You see that, how the Bastion host works? Which I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I'm still in the class. You see that, guys? I was able to connect to that other server, right? Everybody following me?
Right.
So this is the server. So this is how you need to do. Now you see that I'm not able to connect to this app server. Okay, I'm not able to connect to this app server from here. Is it possible? No. From here, is it possible? No. Only this server can connect. And how is that possible? Because I have a security group here that I explicitly says RDP can be only done from this guy 10.0.2.112/32. That's how I explicitly made this. So if this server is down, can anybody connect to these servers from an outside world? No. All right, so this is how we will go. We will stop this here. I think we covered. We still need to do a lot more stuff in the thing, but I think you're getting a hang of it. Try to do the same thing in your environment. So it won't cost that much money. And only thing you need to do is, like last week I forgot, once you're done with all these things, please go and shut down your instances. Now don't terminate because it is going to create a lot of problems. So just shut it down. You will be paying for your hard drives. Anyways, you have to pay because hard drive, once you create, it is going to cost you for 1 month. So once you build it, keep it there. Try to do the same thing so you get a level of confidence.
So looking at your diagram, Deepu, I see that the Bastion server is in a different region and the private subnet is a different region. So that doesn't matter.
Okay, what is a region for you? Come on, man.
I'm sorry. I'm in the availability zone.
Yeah. So what is the problem in availability zone? I told you, whichever availability zone, they are all local to the VPC. For VPC, it is a local network, so they can communicate either side. Doesn't matter.
Okay. I just wanted to clarify on that. Yeah. Thanks.
Yep. Any questions, anybody? So far, good, right? So we'll stop here. And